18-year-old at the time defendant right through the windshield, and then the two well-placed parallel rounds right through the back window. And then the brass catchers, which unfortunately for these defendants had those two shell casings.
Oh my God!
Matched the gun that fired, the Glock that fired, the chances Glock that fired that Mr. Murphy, Rashad Murphy utilized. He provided a modification to that weapon and manipulated the weapon so that there would be shell casings left. Not this time. Because you remember back in October of 23, in the first attack on Charles Jones, they were able to match shell casings from that scene to the shell casings found when these officers stopped Mr. Gathright. Those shell casings. And of course, Mr. Gathright provided ammunition as well as the rifles. So I want to talk to you about this. I don't have audio on this, but I just want you to watch for a few minutes what is occurring in this screen recorded video on his iCloud. Look at that time, 8:30, 8:40. That's a work day before the murder happens. That's 8 hours before the murder happens. And we know that this defendant, look at the problem solving right there in real time.
You know what's so crazy? One day, look at that. Julio was playing at his party to basically, you know what I mean, lift up his brand, and then they start hating. Like, just understand, man. Just stop hating on people and lift your brand up. He had a party, bitches showed up, niggas showed up. He just ain't know what niggas and bitches was with him, and he got his shit. Like, this shit so fucked up.
The decision.
I about to get the death penalty, nigga. See, stupid.
From, as Raul Benasco told us, a very mature defendant.
My guy, man. Y'all already know. Good.
Look at him going through. And then we're going to see him start using the multiple
raw paper.
Filters. A property on the water. A property with this many rooms.
Y'all tap in with me.
As a pool. A property with a barbecue. Trying to figure this out.
All LA companies that want me to test their products out and get their stuff going on, tapping with y'all. Y'all already know I drop the PO, I drop the address for y'all.
This just
that's how we rocking. We're gonna be rocking for 90 days straight.
And it goes on. You remember in the trial when we played this for you, this goes on for minutes and minutes and minutes of tenacious, goal-oriented, purpose-driven behavior by this defendant. And what was the whole purpose of this? Was he looking for an Airbnb? Was he looking to rent a property? Was he doing anything of any kind of productivity? No.
Sean Gaffrey did some premeditated work.
Trying to find Charles Jones, their target. Desperately trying to find him. Actively trying to find him.
Yeah. So, yeah, you go on to prison. I mean, you already there.
That's his fingers doing that. Searching, looking. Now the filtering.
Why are you looking for somewhere to murder somebody that has a pool and different amenities? What are you doing? These gotta be the dumbest. These gotta be the dumbest dudes. Yeah, it's dumb.
This is what you need to look at.
Like, I don't care what nobody says, bro.
That this was
these dudes are dumb.
Calculated and premeditated murder. And remember, your considerations are to each individual.
I'm gonna be live every day for 365 days, and I'm making beds, and I'm reacting. I don't give a damn.
A lot of this evidence, you gotta look at it as a whole. You gotta look at it as a whole. Every one of them, this cold, calculated, premeditated aggravator applies to each of them. This alone, this is enough premeditation to convict 1,000 people of first-degree premeditated murder. But it doesn't end there, because at 1:30, this defendant is not done hunting and searching for Mr. Jones. Now he's going to utilize
Mr. Jones.
a technique, a honeypot. He's going to use a honeypot technique, if you've ever heard of that term.
Mr. Jones.
A honeypot, a lure. He's going to try to lure and get that information by luring it out of someone, by using this pretty young girl, Kyla, who unbelievably goes along with this. I need you to text Fat Boy. We never know who Fat Boy is. It's probably Xavier Edwards. About what? As I need you to text Fat Boy, tell him you're trying to pull up about trying to see him tonight. You know I'm going. I've been FaceTiming him while I'm out. She doesn't really understand at first. He in Tampa right now. Make it seem like you know he's there. He had a B&B with 6. Be like, what's WYA? Where are you at? I want to pull up. I'm drunk. I'm trying to F. Never mind. Then she says, we at Tier Club. Because she's not following. You want to come to the B&B with us? Question mark. Because she's not understanding. No, I'm in Tampa. I'm trying to see where his B&B at. Who B&B? 6. Fools. It's his B-Day and Fat Boy with him. Not here in Jacksonville. No, they in Tampa. What? She still doesn't understand. But that doesn't stop him. He persists. Let me FaceTime. Play like you know it. Fat Boy going to Beezer's tonight or some shit like that. Clearly, this defendant was persistent that night and tenacious in his attempts to locate Charles Jones. And then we know that in addition to all of this effort and involvement in this case, because, folks, the evidence in this case shows there is no defendant sitting over here. There is no defendant in this case who did more to orchestrate this murder than Mr. Gathright. They may be as involved in him, but nobody exceeds his culpability in this murder. He adds and provides the car for the assault team, the Impala. He drives all the way down there and takes the entire intelligence and surveillance team with him. We talked about this, how he drove around the parking lot, how he maneuvered and kept the assault team from being detected. That's on that defendant's shoulders in this cold, calculated, premeditated murder.
Them dudes about to get life.
And where does this whole thing end?
Death penalty and all that.
Back at the gas
That shit is a fucking game.
The suburbs in Jacksonville.
Why you even? That nigga said my mama do voodoo. Why would y'all even try that kid?
He's not there.
I just be playing around
No,
with people,
this
right?
defendant's not there. He's over in Auburndale in Polk County, dropping the Impala off.
And a lot of people, this is really Miami business. Like, I went to North Miami Middle, right? Like, I went to McNichol Middle High School in Broward County, right? So I went to school in 2 counties. I went to school in North Miami, and I went to school in Broward County in Hollywood. So those who know, I don't give a fuck. Think of this YouTube shit ain't like like a lot of y'all use this shit for like if you know, man. Like I be saying, this is real life shit. So if this was real beef going on, you see Sean Gaffright at the end. Nah, homie, you ain't going out on your shield. You ain't going out on what you really was going for. So when you get in the yard, you gonna be PC'd up.
With his unsuspecting grandmother.
Nah.
His grandmother.
Boys used to hop on the jitney with you doing that too, homie. And I done lived a lot of places. This is why I'm saying, man, like fuck is this? Hold on. Why they want to kill Foolio? Gotta be a reason. There gotta be a reason they wanted to kill him.
Miss Allen. And then driving off in her Forerunner, now loaded with all of that ammunition and all that other evidence. Before I talk about this aggravated, premeditated evidence sense of that, for each one of
He's
these defendants,
really saying like, yo, y'all really had it in y'all to really kill him. Like, yo, there should be no reason to spare y'all. Like, fuck all the sad stories. This is security guard, like right here, like
because this is
whoever, whoever that shorty is right there that came with the wet wavy. Like, y'all hope you watch this. I hope y'all go subscribe. That I hope y'all go subscribe because we be back. We be back. Yeah, this is crazy, man. All I'm saying is
to take care of both your mind and
all I'm saying is
that's why now through May 15th, all new members get free massage amenities all month long. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, no commitment. Deal ends May 15th.
they had intentions on killing Julio Foolio, man. They had intentions on killing Julio Foolio. Listen to this. Oh my God.
In real time as it's being suffered.
Oh my God. People getting hit up in the hotel.
Being treated in the hospital for all of his wounds. These men still having projectiles in their bodies. That photograph should be on the horizontal, but that's Gino Norris in the hospital. He was able to go home later that day with his father who came and got him. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Look at the placement of those rounds from Mr. Gathrights' rifle, because there's no doubt he's the one that fired those. The one on the right went out the windshield. The one on the left went through this young lady's right arm. Camilla Bentley, 22 years old, completely unrelated to anyone in this case. She's a friend of Miss Albritton's and just happened to be tagging along for the party. And somehow, by some providence, she knew to slip into that front seat. Because I can tell you, if you're looking at this photograph, let me see if I can go backwards. One of those rounds may very well have gone right through her head. Yeah, we have 3 attempted murders in this case, only by the grace of God. And you can see the round coming out of that windshield. And then and before I guess I move on to that, let me talk about this aggravator. The fact that these 3 defendants, Murphy's and Mr. Gathright, shot and killed Charles Jones and then attempted to murder these other people who were in the cars Camilla, Gino, and Xavier Edwards. That is an aggravating factor. That is a violent felony offense that you have convicted of. And that is an aggravating factor. And there is absolutely zero doubt about it. It's been proven in your verdicts. Your verdicts, you've already found that this aggravator exists beyond a reasonable doubt. That aggravator alone would justify a sentence of death for these three defendants. But when you couple it, when you add it, and its weight and significance to the heightened premeditation in this case, there's no comparison. It blots out the mitigation that's been presented to you for those three defendants. The first degree murder was committed by a criminal gang member. Now, I think Mr. Petridis had come up here in his opening and had told you what you all already know. You already basically have found that this is proved by proof beyond a reasonable doubt. The wording that you were given, and that's a sentencing enhancement, is that the crimes were committed by a gang member or associate, because both of those would qualify. You remember the gang detectives talking about there's criteria numbers that have to be met in the Florida statutes for a gang member or for an associate. The state has no doubt that when you deliberated, you found that all of these defendants, other than Mr. Gathright, are gang members. But now you will have to make a finding of that the state has proven beyond any doubt that they are. You will be given the same instructions about the criteria and that so many have to be met. Is that an aggravating factor in this case? So I want to ask you about that. Does common sense say that it is? Because if one of these defendants who was a gang member, let's just take Mr. Chance, just as an example, if he had got into a fight with his girlfriend or found out something about her that he was upset about, and he went out to his car and retrieved a gun and he loaded it, and he walked around the block and he cooled off and he came back and decided he was going to kill her anyways, and he went and murdered her, that would be premeditated murder, and that would be an aggravating factor because he's a gang member. But in that instance, the gang membership would have nothing to do with that murder. It'd be unrelated to that murder, and it'd still be an aggravating factor. But here, this is the heart of this murder. It's the heart of this plot, this plan. All four of these defendants share the same motive to take out Charles Jones because he is in the opposition. Mr. Gathright we don't have this aggravator against him, but he clearly has allegiances and associations. So it goes to the CCP, the cold, calculated, premeditated aggravator as far as Mr. Gathright. His motive would be relevant to that to show the heightened premeditation. But it is not an aggravator against him. You cannot consider it as such. But these other defendants, yes. It's not only an aggravating factor, it's an essential part of the cold, calculated, premeditated manner that the murder was committed in, because it's their motive. It lays at the heart of this case, and that's what makes it so aggravating. When you couple that, that the reason they're doing this is because they are criminal gang members, and they're taking out an opposition criminal gang member. That's what aggravates this murder. And it applies to these three defendants, the Murphys, and now Mr. Chance. Not Mr. Gathright. And we know what their motive was. We can take it right out of Young and Ace's song that was written and produced and uploaded just a few days after Charles Jones' murder. Davion Murphy, Shug Spaz. Davion Murphy, throwing gang signs. Talk about cold-blooded. They're talking to him about a murder, and he's in there throwing gang signs when they leave him alone. This is a proud gang member. He is a walking billboard of 1200. It's indelibly imprinted all over his body, from the 1200 on the back of his neck and his upper traps, all over his body. with the members of 1200 who have been murdered or killed. Rashad Murphy sending out the next day, was barely afternoon, and he's posting his motive in this murder, throwing props to Prosper and Junior, Get Back Day. They are the 187 babies. And we all remember what 187 stands for, right? The California statute for murder.
See, these?
Remember this slide? And you see Mr. Murphy. We saw still shots of Mr. Murphy there. He's throwing an upside down.
Half the world tuning into this bitch right now. 7 point. I can't say half the world.
He was in with numerous other gang members, including Wapa and Spinabands.
That's your team.
Was murdered just hours before the attempted murder on Charles Jones in October of 23, the murder that Mr. Chance's best friend and buddy, Sean Gathright, is connected to, and the evidence. And we see Mr. Chance sitting there in that back seat with a ghost over his mouth. Mr. Chance throwing 1200 signs. Mr. Chance with his bully down sign. You remember, Ms. Doherty made a great point in her closing statements. It's up in an area of his bedroom. First thing he'll see in the morning, last thing he'll see at night, in a place where a lot of people
gonna be able to live the same life.
Some other religious symbol.
I see dudes in there talking about they eating better than dudes that's outside of prison because they got some canteen. Like, I don't knock none of my brothers in prison that need to come home, but when y'all start talking like that, it's like, yo, brother, you need to get out of prison. Get out of prison. All my brothers in prison, like, yo, we wishing for you to come home. The little Dirk's all my real niggas in real life, not no celebrity shit. Fuck all the celebrity shit, nigga.
Let's be
These
for
dudes
real.
gotta face real life death penalty or life in prison. This shit's crazy.
And he's speaking directly about his anger, if you remember the other slide, about nobody doing nothing about Tilly. Nobody's doing anything. And in his social media posting, he misses his friend, Tilly, who you recall was shot in the Uber just a few hours before the attempt on Charles Jones' life. So now I want to discuss something with you real quick. And I'm going to try to make this quick.
Man, y'all better tune into the trial, man. Y'all slacking.
The central motive in this case
all right.
was Charles Jones' affiliation with 6 Block. He was a gang member. We put on evidence of that to show you he was a certified gang